Hey guys, Tim Nydell here. Those of you who listen to my podcast, Saturday Morning Rewind, know how I started the show and why I started the show. So it started actually almost exactly 7 years ago, all the way back in 2012. I started it right after my dad passed away. Because him and my mom gave my brother and I such amazing childhoods. So I really wanted to relive that childhood, and I did that by interviewing my favorite voice actors that I grew up admiring and loving. I started my show because of the cartoons that I watched. And when my dad passed away, I started the show a month after, and it helped me cope. So I want to thank you for everything you've done.
You make me cry, Tim.
Where they had me come in and read sides. I read the sides, and then they asked me to dance. Then they asked me to do martial arts. Then they asked me to do gymnastics. Then they said, "Can you put it all together?" And I was like, "Wow, that's a lot at one time."
Since my show is about reliving childhood, what kind of stuff did you do as a child?
Well, in juvenile hall.
You're so tall. Let's compare height. Look, he's so tall. I'm 6 feet tall. How tall?
I think.
All right.
I think.
Put your hat back on because you're embarrassing yourself.
I'm going to start off by saying that DuckTales, ever since I was 7, has been my favorite cartoon of all time. And it has to do with every single one of you. So thank you so much for doing this. It's an honor.
And I'm also obviously much shorter than this man. Actually, this man is 7.5 feet tall. I'm actually much bigger than I appear.
And I also made some amazing friends along the way as well. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys a glimpse of where I came from, why I'm the way I am. And for that, we have to go all the way back to Reno, Nevada.
Some people go to get away from it all. Reno, still the biggest little city in the world.
I lived in Reno ever since I could remember, and we moved away back in 1993. I had an amazing family growing up. My dad was an executive chef in Reno.
Today we're making a special of shrimp and bay scallop curry.
Great. And what is this around your neck? I see Grand Master Chef.
It's a award just received in the restaurant also. They had out of 50,000 chefs throughout the United States and also Canada, that they pick out 5% to be recipients of the award.
My mom worked at the State Contractors Board in Reno.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mark.
Well, you're not talking to Mark, you're going to be talking to Uncle.
Yeah, we're in.
And my grandparents on my dad's side, they lived right next to us in Reno and also in Portola, California, which is only about 45 minutes away.
There's Grandpa.
What do you take my picture for? What do you take my picture for?
My grandparents on my mom's side, they lived in California and also in Arizona, but they would come by to visit all the time.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. We're going back to Arizona.
39 years next month.
Still loving it.
I had the best aunts, uncles, and cousins that I could ever ask for. And my friends in Reno, I love them to death. I still consider them my very best friends still to this day. So I am the oldest son. I have an older brother named Mark. He is 2 years older than me. We did everything together. Most of my favorite memories of my childhood had to do with my brother and myself together doing something, whether it's playing video games, riding our bikes, playing toys, or just being kids. I love my brother. He was probably my best friend growing up. So 25 years ago exactly, we moved from Reno, the only place I ever remember living. We left all of our friends, all of our childhood memories, and we moved all the way across the country to Florida. And we never really went back. I went back to Reno a few times since '93, but my brother and I have never been back together since 1993, until recently. Just a few months ago, my brother and I actually planned this big trip to go to Reno to relive our childhood, and we did. We went inside our old childhood homes. They actually let us inside of our houses. We went to our elementary schools. We visited some of my favorite all-time friends, but more importantly, we took our dad's ashes with us because, like I said, he passed away 7 years ago. That's why I started doing what I do. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So we wanted to do something with Dad. So we took his ashes and we spread them during this trip in Portola, California, which is where our grandparents lived, and we would go there every summer and Christmas break. So it meant a lot to us as kids, a lot of amazing memories. So the three Nydell boys are back in Reno for the first time since 1993. So come with me as I take you back to our hometown of Reno in Sparks, Nevada, with me and my older brother. Here I am in the beginning of my journey to Reno. Now, for the last 10 years, I've actually lived in Montana, which is about a 12, maybe 12 and a half hour drive to Reno. So that's why I've been able to visit every now and then. I think this is maybe my 4th time back since '93. But like I said, this is our first time back together, my brother and I, since '93. So since I don't live that far, I'm actually driving my car and picking my brother up at the train station because he lives in Colorado. So it's a much farther trip for him to take. Alright, so after a pretty good night's sleep at a hotel, I'm about to go pick up my brother right now from the train station. And before I do, let me tell you a little bit about my brother and I. So my brother, he's 2 years older than me. I'm 38 right now, so I guess he's 40, almost 41. And I would probably say that we were super close as kids. I don't really remember arguing with him. I don't remember really having a real fight with him. We did a lot of things together. We always rode our bikes together, played Nintendo together, watched a little bit of cartoons, played outside, played in the snow, snowball fights, played with friends and everything. And my brother, he was always so much taller than me. As a kid, I was so much fatter. You know, like I always say, I was the shortest male in my 8th and 9th grade class, and now I'm 6'4". A lot's changed since my brother and I lived in Reno. So it's gonna be fun. Just the Nydell boys and just hanging out in Reno, Nevada, our old childhood home. So here we go. Let's go pick them up. Were you on top then, since the bottom looks like it's rooms?
Yeah, I think the bottom is the bedrooms, and also the restaurants and bar and stuff are all downstairs. But I was right up there, right there.
Just 45 minutes west of Reno, there's a small town in California called Portola, where Mark and I would spend the majority of our Christmas and summer breaks because our grandparents lived there, right on the border of the National Forest. So you would literally open up their back door and have access to acres and acres of National Forest. It was amazing. We talked about it, and some of our favorite childhood memories are here in Portola. And in fact, Mark was actually born here in 1978. This part, I don't remember as much. That map.
Well, the map, there was the grocery store, and there was like, that wasn't here, but this was here. This was here. It's a different grocery store, but the roof caved in on a snowstorm about 20 years ago. So it's been redone. It doesn't have the cool basement with all the toys and stuff.
Okay, I remember that, yeah. Yeah, okay, here's the bridge. As soon as I get down to the bridge, it'll look familiar.
Yeah.
Because this is a part of town I remember more of course.
This is actually our first time back in Portola together since 1989, when our grandparents moved from Portola to Reno to be closer to us. And right now we are searching for this old pharmacy that had this amazing ice cream parlor in the corner that Mark and I would visit all the time with our allowance money. As we walked in, I swear, hardly anything has changed, at least when it comes to the ice cream parlor. I even think the same signs are up behind the ice cream. Hopefully, not the same ice cream.
Okay, I just want to take a picture of when I was here.
Yep, that's it right there. No trespassing sign.
Wow.
They must get that a lot.
I don't remember being so close, but yeah, it was so close to the road.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's it. That is totally it.
I just want to go in the yard.
But this house really built up too. Change that around. Alright, so we can get an access road.
Yeah.
You'll just take a right. Way up ahead.
So after finding our grandparents' old house, we found the access road to the National Forest that takes you all the way up to their back door. The road you're seeing right now, my brother and I spent so many hours on it exploring, and that's why we decided to spread Dad's ashes back here. Because we know it's not going to be bulldozed, and number two, it was our grandparents' house, so it'll be right next to their old house. Our grandparents' house somewhere.
It would be right there.
That green one.
Yep.
Yeah, so here we are. We used to stay in the same exact spot and play all around here. And we both consider this our backyard.
This is yard.
This is our backyard. Because no other kids really were back here ever.
No, we never saw anybody back here.
Yeah, so we had like a free reign and everything. It was great. And this goes on for miles and miles.
Where that camper is where that big shed thing was.
So this is where we used to play all the time, in this little yard right here. And then we had a gate that we just accessed this whole back area.
Right there was where our fort was. You can see like the 4 trees.
Yep.
Yep. Totally. That was the hill.
This hill we used to think was humongous. We used to go sledding down all the time. You went skiing down it, didn't you?
Once,
it's like, how do you even go skiing down that little small thing? Alright, yeah, right here's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dad, this is Portola, where we learn to be men and boys, and we felt like this is the spot to leave your remains.
So we feel like this is a good spot to put you. We feel like it's not going to be bulldozed and hotels put upon it, like Reno might be. So
And we used to sit right around here as little boys. I think we were maybe 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Sitting right here looking at the cows in the pasture. Yep. Love you, Dad.
I remember our Grandpa Nydell, used to take Mark and I back here all the time. We go hiking, we go searching for frogs. I remember we came back with frogs multiple times, and we try to keep them as pets. And sometimes Mark and I would just come back here just to sit, and that's where we just spread Dad's ashes. Was one spot we really remember sitting at and watching the cows just graze, just eat. And it's just those simple memories that made my childhood awesome.
Alright, so we came back to the spot we were at earlier, this hill that had this old car or whatever this is underneath it, because we used to play on this hill all the time.
Really don't know what's under it.
Yeah. And our grandparents' house is right over there. So this is the second spot that we're gonna spread some of Dad's ashes. This is a big memorable spot for us. Here we go. Wow, it's all over your foot.
Yeah. Whoops. There's still so much in there.
No, not the whole thing.
I'm not doing the whole thing. It's still like this full. Wow.
Right now, as we're driving through Portola for our very last time together, we're actually passing by our grandparents' old church.
We were married in their home, they stood up. They're here to like that. Stand again.
Stand up again. Yeah.
That we used to go visit all the time when we were staying with them. And right next to that old church was a park that Mark and I spent a lot of time at with our grandparents. And actually, inside the park, there's a pool where I learned how to swim. We also used to do a lot of picnics, learn how to play tennis in the park with our grandma. There were a lot of amazing memories in this little small town.
See, that's the hospital up there.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even know it's there.
So this place right here is actually where I learned how to swim. This little pool was where I learned how to swim. I don't remember there being a fence, really.
Yeah, there was a fence. I don't remember the barbed wire.
Now, is it just me, or do you remember a little train that went around? Was it only during like a fair time or something?
I don't remember.
I remember a little train going around the circle, like almost probably this whole grassy area.
Yeah, probably.
But we'd come here all the time, play on the swing. So that's probably the same equipment that's still here now.
The water fountains are the same ones.
Wow.
One of my favorite memories of living in Reno was watching the Great Reno Balloon Race every September. I just remember walking to school in the cool, crisp September air and just looking up while the sun was coming up and seeing dozens and dozens of hot air balloons up in the sky. and that has just stayed with me over the years, and it is one of my most fond memories of living in Reno. The Great Reno Balloon Race actually started in 1982, so it's been around since as long as I can remember. It really brought back a lot of amazing memories being there.
I am standing right in front of my kindergarten school in Reno, Nevada. This was, Mark, what's the name of the school again? Mount Rose. Teachers actually wanted to hold me back from kindergarten because I would not talk to anybody. I was afraid of everybody, the teachers, other kids. I would just do art. I would just love to paint, and with a giant dinosaur like in the middle of the classroom that I love to play on.
Your door
like 915 right there or something?
Your door was right over there, and it went down into the basement thing.
So that's a cool looking school. So even though I was asked to be held back, I have a lot of fond memories of taking naps, drawing, watching Pinocchio, watching Disney movies in the classroom. I'm losing my voice, by the way. So this marks our first time back ever since, what, 85? So it's been 33 years since we've been right here.
Right now we are headed to our old house. A house that we lived in very early 80s, I want to say late 84, early 85, and we moved out around 1987. And we only moved out because the house is just a little bit too small for a family of 4.
Alright, so there is our old house. Right in front of us. So yeah, so right here is where I learned how to ride my bike. Right here in this little sidewalk. Alright, let's get out. Check out the house. So we'd walk from our house to go to school. In this direction was our school. My brother and I walk every morning together to the elementary school, Jesse Beck Elementary School, which was a very cool school, I thought. What do you remember most about our walks to school?
Let's see, we found a crystal right here.
Do you remember our invisible friends?
No.
Our make-believe friends?
I do.
You had invisible ghosts, which makes sense.
You had a monkey.
I had invisible monkeys. Okay, so more about our invisible friends. Do you remember how we created them? Like how they would be born?
Oh, there's the rye seeds up here.
Yeah.
Caraway seeds that we would find. I don't know why there was caraway seeds.
No, what it was in the lunches on the pizzas. They had it on the pepperoni pizzas. So we would plant those seeds.
Maybe we just planted it over here.
Maybe. We would plant those seeds into the dirt, and it was the next day that we came back to school.
Yeah.
Our invisible friends would be there.
Yeah.
In the school. And I remember having a ton of monkeys. I don't remember how many ghosts you had, just one maybe.
Just one.
I had like 20 of them. Each one was like a specific thing they did. Okay, so here we are, going into their old school. I would have been here for first grade only. Mark was here for third
grade only.
And I was actually here for the first time since then. 2 years ago with my friend Christian. We shot some footage, and I'll show you guys that right now.
I actually don't remember a ton about Jesse Beck Elementary. Like I said, I was in first grade here, so only 6 years old. I think my fondest memory of the school has to be walking to school with Mark and walking along with our invisible monkeys and invisible ghosts. We used to get those seeds off of the pizzas in the lunchroom, and then right after we're done eating, go to the playground and plant them in the dirt. And then, like we said, come back to school the next morning, and there they would be, our invisible friends.
Alright, so we are walking back from the school. We got back to our vehicle, and again, there is our old childhood home right there. Now the cool thing is, the woman who lives there, who's been living there since '90, I believe, she actually is letting us inside the house and to film around the house. So let's go do that right now. So here I am, standing right in front of my childhood home, and what's so great is that my brother and I used to play a ton on these steps. You remember those Army Ant toys? Here, I'll show you a little clip of the commercial.
Wherever we go, you will always know Army Ants, we go marching along. Army Ants, holding squadrons of 3 and 8.
So we used to play with those right around here and play with worms around here with the Army Ants. You guys see that bird bath back there? That was in our backyard back there when I was a kid, and now it's still here. And she's actually letting me take it home, so that is going back with me to Montana. And I always loved it how the yard just wraps around. It's a complete wraparound of the house, and we had a great time as kids in this yard. Like I said, hide and go seek all the time in these bushes. My parents' bedroom window right there. And of course that's a bathroom window right there. I remember hiding right here in these bushes. And the woman Bev who lives here now, she said that she was digging in her garden. She found this little toy that's been there for years. And she said it could have been mine, and it really could have been mine, because she's owned this place since the mid-90s. So this could have been my toy. I'm taking it home. Alright, so about right here in the backyard, there's a picture of me and Mark. Somewhere around right here. Picture of us, and I'll try to show you guys that exact picture. And also for the birthday party that I had, there's a picture of us in the backyard popping balloons, and the fountain, the bird bath is about right here, and a basketball hoop right there. Played quite a bit actually.
We did.
And then a lot of cap guns, a lot of hide and seek. Which really, where do you hide in this yard?
Behind the
bushes. That's all you do.
This is where I went to school for my 4th and 5th grade years. New Life Christian School. Before the school, I was always super shy, and I think it was because of the school that made me come out of my shell just a little bit. Of course, I was still quiet. Ask anybody who I went to school with, they'll tell you that I was still really didn't talk, but I had some amazing friends because of the school. Hillary, Nicholas, Carl, Andrea, Charity, Leanna. If any of you are watching, thank you guys so much for taking me in, being my friend. It meant the world to me, really did. So right up there, top right of the building, the very far right window was my 5th grade class, where my teacher was Mrs. Hager, who was actually my best friend's mom, so that was a fun year. And the window right next to that to the left was my 4th grade classroom.
So we lived in this house between around 87 to 93. So this is the last house we lived in Reno before we moved all the way to Florida. And a lot of great memories, I believe, because I was between 7 and 13, so a lot of growing up was done in this household right here.
This is a nice house.
Yeah, So it's cool. And actually, yeah, same as the last house, they are letting us record a little bit of our little childhood home. So let's go check that out.
Papa, say hi to the camera.
Hi to the camera.
Good job. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mark.
Here's the birthday boy.
They
Today's
can't
his
have
birthday.
They can't have the stove here anymore because it's against the law to have.
I smell something cooking. Let's check it out. Lasagna. That's for my birthday dinner. Hi, the camera kitty.
This was my bedroom, and you'll see footage of Mom.
Hi.
Painting that ceiling right there. And Grandpa
Don't go fast.
Oh, do that.
over there. I mean, it's really surreal just being back in my childhood. That was amazing. I'm about to cry. Wow.
This is Papa and Nydell, my side of the family. Actually, Timmy's, because I'm a Lindsay. But, Timmy, stop it. See, he's fixing up for the yard sale, putting prices on everything. Yeah, he's working hard. Look at him sweat. And there's Timmy trying to look like him. And here's all the stuff. See, that's the toilet that we just took out of our bathroom. That's the old one. That's Timmy again.
So my microphone actually broke during recording, so I'll just finish it off with some voiceover. So our house is right down the street, last house on the left, maybe about 7 or 8 houses down, and we are currently at our elementary school, Alice Maxwell, where I spent my 2nd and 3rd grade. I believe Mark was in 4th and 5th grade here. And here is a quick picture of me in 3rd grade.
It's original, and you can see the other one next to it, to the left of it, is original too.
So I was actually here for the very first time 2 years ago with my good friend Christian, and we actually went inside and got a lot of great footage that I'll play for you guys right now. I have a lot of memories of the school, honestly. One of them is one I tell quite a bit. My first ever real crush was in the school here, and I tried to get her attention the whole school year long. And when I finally did, which took almost all year long, I was on the swing set. The swing next to me was open. She comes up to me and says, "Hey Timmy, is that swing available?" I just get up, I walk away, I never talk to her ever again. Yeah, it's kind of a miracle that I'm actually married. Another great memory I have is my brother and I used to bring our bikes in here. Since it was an open school, there was no gates at the time. We used to ride around and play bike tag with a tennis ball. And to this day, that's one of my favorite memories of the street. Right now, we are arriving at the 2nd location of New Life Christian School. Earlier we saw my 4th and 5th grade classes, but for my 6th grade class, they actually bought a much larger building because classes were getting larger, and this is where I spent my 6th grade.
This is my classroom.
Oh, right here.
This is our cafeteria.
The footage you're watching right now was actually recorded a couple years earlier when my good friend Christian and I visited, and we were able to access the building.
So we would have 3 doors. That's one of the doors there that goes into our classroom. We used to have a library right here and do our book reports inside there.
Not too much has changed, really. Of course, I was only 11 last time I was in the building, so it's kind of hard to remember exactly how it looked. And this, my friends, is the busy Reno Strip at night. Of course, Mark and I were very young when we lived here, so we didn't experience it that much. But every now and then, our parents would take us to Circus. And that's where I'm taking you guys right now. So I can play my all-time favorite game that I used to play all the time when I was a kid. The camel game. I guess you can call it that. I don't remember the name of it, but here we go.
Okay, number 1 and 8 are tied for first place. Number 1 is getting ahead.
I must say, out of all the places that we visited, I think Circus has changed the most. I do not recognize this place at all. The games used to be in their own separate rooms. It was never open like this, but it's still a great place to go, so I really like it. And I guess this brings us to the end of the video, where I drop my brother back off at the train station as he heads back to Colorado, and I head back to Montana. I gotta say, this trip, I've gone on a lot of vacations during my life, and this has got to top it all. To reconnect with my childhood best friends, people I've known since I was like 3 or 4 years old. To walk the hallways that we once walked as kids. To actually go inside our old houses that we haven't seen in over 20 years. This trip was exactly what I needed, I think. And I hope I may have inspired somebody else to take a journey just like this someday.
Yeah, basically it's an Oreo cookie cheesecake. New York style, so it's all put together.
You've
Boys.
got Oreo cookies in it, and what's inside of it?
Yeah, basically it's just your Oreo cookie. It's got a layer right inside. Let me pull one slice out.
This is your own recipe that you created.
Yes.
This is my room getting painted.
Now he claims to be in his room. You guys seen it before. I thought it was somebody else. Don't go too fast. Here, you want me to take it when you paint it? What's that?
Jimmy, take it outside and show the deck to me and I'll paint it.
We'd have to either weld it closed.
Are you pretty close to me?
No.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
We're gonna take Timmy to Denny's for his breakfast.
For birthday breakfast.
Birthday breakfast.
For the birthday
He's
boy.
the birthday boy.
Right.
Birthday boy.
I got a shot.
There's
right
the birthday
now.
boy. He's wearing his new t-shirt that he got today.
Current.